some parts that are out of spec. We're going to look for that in our kit. So first things first, we want to take the hammer spring out. And this varies depending on the fire control
group. Got a little
group.
YouTube going on in the background.
And then what we're going to do is I'm going to
be here getting us some shots. I've been shooting pretty much all day.
So what we have here are a couple examples of bad springs. So if you look at them, you can see that this isn't completely level. So the spring in here is what I would consider good. The legs are almost level with each other. Where these,
this is something I got going on today. What I've been doing.
A little more
like I said, I've been doing a lot of shooting today.
And then you have these springs here, which do the opposite.
Didn't do a whole lot of shooting this day.
Either from wear or from
total 466 shots. My average score is 85.3.
So you're gonna look at the hammers and the kits. So these are ones that I wouldn't use.
Did the hostage rescue today. This was really cool, really fun.
The LaRue has a
my favorite thing to do on here right now is the endurance. Those are really fun.
Pretty much level. You can see they're not quite level there.
It's just
slight variation in the spring. But that's
what I've been doing these last couple of days.
And then over to the Geisley. Again, I'll take the spring off. You're not going to hurt the spring by giving it a little bit of a bend there.
Get some shooting done again.
And again, hammer springs.
As you can see, I just did the hostage rescue for the beginner.
Something like this.
Probably going to go back and do some more endurance.
Something like that.
Doing that.
And something like this may even be okay.
Just
but you just don't want it to be drastic.
Just statting it up right now. Like I said, I'm about to get active. Get some shots. Get some more shots up. Like I said, I've been shooting all day.
Have enough tension to maintain.
Let's get it, man.
Consistent ignition, or they won't.
This was fun too. The target transitions. This was fun. I had fun doing that. This is pretty fun.
It's resting in the groove.
Pretty fun little tool that Mantis came out with. So,
as far as the triggers go,
man.
Trigger
spring. Let's see. What it is?
So I can hold on to stuff.
Endurance, like I said, I want to do endurance.
This is what I refer to as
endurance
a good spring.
Is fun for me.
It has a little bit of positive B, neutral.
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna start my basic training course. Let's see what that's about.
So this is okay. This is okay. That's bad. So
what
we'll do is we'll go through our triggers here, and I'm gonna pull these off.
What I gotta do? 10 shots.
I'll show you why in a few moments. They're parallel. That's fine.
Right 91. 95.
They're parallel.
98. 98.
And these have a little bit more tension to them, but that's okay.
98. Low 90.
All right, so all of our springs check out.
97.
We have the parts, for the most part, disassembled.
96.
One important thing that I like to cover 95. Is the removal of hammer 97. And trigger pins if they're pre-installed when you purchase a kit from any company such as LaRue or even Geisley. The pins will come
95.
Installed in the hammer. So in cases like this, it's pretty common for people to just grab a steel punch, because when you push on these, they tend to grab on the J-spring, so they're hard to get out. So people will grab a steel punch and go
down here
put pressure on that.
I'm doing wrong,
and it's possible that they can either damage the ends of the hammer or trigger pin, and it can also scratch or gouge
show you how to correct it.
The finished surface on the inside of the hammer. And it's far from optimal to score up the inside of something that is a precision fit. So what I prefer to use is a brass punch. You could even use something that's made of nylon or polymer. But if you slip, it's softer than the steel. And it shouldn't cause any significant damage.
You see where I pulled it at? Where my shot
push the pin out. Low risk of damage. And if you happen to mar the end of the punch up from repeated use, you can just take some emery cloth or a file and just dress the edge so there's not any sharp or jagged edges as you're trying to use the tool.
Let's see. Oh, is it up here? So yeah, the blue is my hold. The yellow.
What I have here is a washer that I painted.
I don't care about that.
Painted it just so it's easy to find. When I do classes, I put them in bins. And they're hard to find. And what you want to do is just take your fire control parts.
Had a little flyer.
This ferrous that you know a magnet will pick up.
Yeah, 2 flyers. My first shot was a flyer, and I think shot 6 was a flyer. Is that 2 flyers? Yeah, just 2 little flyers, but they were high percentage shots. 90, then at 91 on my 2 flyers.
If it's magnetic, it'll pick the washer up.
Let's get back.
I'm really checking the parts that actually spin, move.
The benchmark score is in the top 90%, which is 90% greater than my first benchmark.
That's magnetic. It's going to attract particles. Either particles via wear, or maybe if you're shooting some imported steel-cased ammunition, it's possible that it can shake some of the material from the casing or the environmental jacket and start sticking to anything that's magnetic.
I don't know. I don't get this part. It keeps making me do this, even though I've done it already. Right, but bitch, help me. Oh, fuck it, I'll do it again. I don't mind doing it again. He's making me do this one.
Usually when you get these pins, they're installed already on the guy's leg. Take the disconnect
97.
out. Try that.
95. 99.
Everything looks good.
96.
So we can set that aside.
High left 94.
In cases where you run into any of your fire control
97.
parts being magnetized,
low right 94.
I have to have a demagnetizer, and I can show over here on my main
right
workbench.
94.
This is the magnetizer.
Low right
So if any of these parts were magnetic, you would turn this on. You'd run the items across several times, and if it had any magnetism, to remove that.
Get in the comments, you guys. Let me know how I'm doing. Let me know if you have one of these at home and how do you like it and what's your favorite drill to run. Those were guns, man. Keep going. See what we got up next.
Next thing we want to look at on whether or not our fire control group is new or used is we want to examine the pins. We want to look for any kind
20
of
seconds to get off 10 shots.
burrs, any deep gouges,
20 seconds to get off 10 shots. That's my history.
any chips. And what you can do to ensure their levels, you can find a true surface somewhere in your house, something that you know is level. So right here I have a piece of granite.
You can see I'm using my SIG 2320. It tells you which gun I'm using.
The purpose of this is to check and see if they're bent.
And
so if you were to roll this on a surface and it's bent, it would just move a little bit and then wobble or come to a stop, and you'll see it.
P320 that I'm using. Custom little stipple grip, but that's what I'm using. That's the mantis on the bottom of it. Cool shit. Just drill, man. And as you can see, I have to keep it above a 92. And if you can see, shooting 92s is easy.
These are good. And the
right
guy's
94.
How many shots you think this guy about to get through?
95.
Of course, you need to make sure there's not a bunch of storage
96.
grease or any kind of heavy lubricants on them. They're not going to spin or roll.
95.
Here I have some examples of bad parts, and it may be hard to see in the video, but It has
97.
a chunk here missing from someone driving it in, either without lubricant or things were sized improperly.
95.
And then I have some in here that are broken. Of course, you shouldn't see that in a brand new kit, but
96.
things that I show people to look out for, and they usually break where the groove is cut.
Oh, who the fuck gave me an 85? See, that's another thing about the mantis. This is very sensitive.
All right, next step.
And sometimes this slide
we want to ensure that
when you go to recock it, which just threw me the fuck off.
The bores.
I really do hate that.
The disconnect.
A fucking 9? Get the fuck out of here.
Properly sized for the hammer and trigger pins. But before we do that,
but yeah, that 9 is from the slide
manufacturers, the fire control group, they can have some storage grease on them. They can get pretty sticky over time.
I wonder
which is to prevent corrosion as they sit in the warehouse or when they're somewhere, or even after you purchase them and they sit on the shelf for a while.
Really sensitive sometimes.
What I use is
what can you do?
Just cheap brake cleaner.
Just reset it.
The auto parts store. You can use something like gun scrubber. It costs a little bit more. Gun scrubber is safer for some plastics and polymers. So what I'll do is I'll just take
one and reset it. Stop it and
you have to be careful with this stuff. If you have sensitive skin, it's prudent to wear gloves, something to prevent the solvent from making contact with your skin. But what I'll do is I'll just...
Let's get 10 shots.
You're not trying to really degrease everything. You just want to get...
97.
To grease the...
95.
Out of the bore.
95.
Excuse me if it seems like I'm missing.
97.
But having a camera in front of your face can be a little bit difficult.
95.
Performing a task and shooting a video at the same time. So we've degreased those.
High left 94. 96.
On the LaRue, the disconnect
96.
is held in with a rivet, so we don't take that out.
97. 98.
You can see some of the grease came out on the paper towel.
Woo, right 92. Gotta get it up.
99.
But that's the endurance. That's off 99.
Low left 92.
Woo, there's another 92. I mean, well over 10 shots, I suppose.
High left 94.
Gotta shoot till I can't.
All right, once we have these
Left
components
93.
degreased, what I normally do is I will use these gauges. These are gauges that I've made for my armor and build classes. Essentially, this gives me a go.
You can feel it when you don't.
I'm sorry, a go and a no-go side.
Immediately when you don't hit.
So before I start,
fucking 86.
I'll take
but 19 shots.
The go side, and you're not going to be able to get this all the way through on a hammer because there is a J spring in here.
My average score was a 95.
That interacts with the center groove on your pen.
Let's track the motion of the muzzle.
This goes in.
This is what I like the most. See, that was a flyer.
And that's not something that's terribly expensive.
I got out of 19 shots. 2, 3, 4.
It goes through.
5, 6.
The spec for the go side is .155.
What
is technically the field service diameter?
Fuck another flyer.
Is .163. One
Again, I've been doing a lot of shooting days.
Fire control grip, you're not going to need this. This is for heavily wear or for heavy wear. So then we'll move over to the LaRue.
We didn't have any daily challenges today, so I'll do this one again. These two, I kind of want to do these in a safer location, if that makes sense. But these are cool. This one was cool. I'll try this one again.
Let's see if I can get the number so you can view this.
Alright, total 20 shots, 10 transitions.
Shooter ready.
I have some pin gauges to do that. And like I said, just purchasing this 155 pin gauge would cost about
96.
$4 to $6 without shipping. You don't have to have a handle.
97.
But
95.
in lieu of that, you can
94.
use your fire control group pins.
93.
Essentially, what you want to be sure of
98.
is that these pins don't bind on any of these
99.
pieces, the hammer, trigger, disconnect, and you also don't want them to bind
95.
in the lower receiver. So to make sure that my 155 gauge
92.
goes through the holes.
99.
Now on this one, it's blocked
96.
by wisely
98.
bolt catch, but I can go from the other side.
96.
And again, these are relatively low
Endurance on 20
round
shots is
count
crazy.
receivers, so they're not going to
My
take
score
this
is
larger
96.1. It's
field
better than
reject
97% of shooters. Ha! Fuck with
But
your
what
boy.
you can do is you
But
can
you can see my
purchase
stats here.
additional pin gauges.
I'm gonna
This
assume,
gauge is
yeah. So my score was
154.
the yellow.
So
The rest of
you
everybody.
don't necessarily need this.
So
If it
that's how that
failed
works.
to allow the go gauge to go in, I would see if it was undersized by 1
I
thousandths.
see. My first shot was
But generally
98,
what I wanna
96,
know
97, 95,
after
94,
it takes my
93,
go gauge,
98, 99,
and again, this is
95,
optional,
98, 90.
is I want to know if it will take a 156
Which was my fastest
or
time? Looking like 282?
a
282 my
157 pin.
fastest time? Yeah,
And this is
right
just
here.
going to show you the variance
282,
between
fastest time.
this Colt,
Slight
this
deviation
Palmetto,
there.
and this Nodax Bud receiver.
Slight deviation.
So this is the 156.
Yeah.
Let's see if it will go into the Colt.
But again, the blue is just me swinging the
And it
gun.
won't. So the Colt's pin bores are exactly 0.155. The Nodax Bud, can't get it into there.
Time benchmark. Let's see. When the buzzer sounds, shoot as fast as you can while
Again,
maintaining
Nodax
proper
Bud.
trigger control.
It's exactly
And sight picture for each
155.
shot. This time.
And then this Palmetto.
All right, this is a drill.
See if it takes it.
This one's time.
All right. So it'll take a 156.
20 shots this way. Shoot as fast as you can. Maintaining
Let's see if it'll take a 157.
All right, that does
And it
have
does.
20 shots. It just says shoot till I can.
Shooter
The
ready.
Palmetto has our control group pinholes that are .002 oversized, brand new,
Low right 94.
no wear at all on this.
Left 90. Low right 74. High
Just to
right
show you some
94.
variance. A lower is not a lower.
I really think me pulling on this slide got picked up again. That 74 fucked me.
This is a M16 field service gauge. Has a tapered tip to it.
That's fine.
So if this
I'm
was a
not tripping on
well-used
that.
low receiver,
I'm not
you'd
tripping
see
on
if
that. It was
you can
nighttime.
penetrate
At 192.
any of these
See that?
holes by slightly putting a little bit of pressure on them and pushing it. It doesn't. So that lower is still low. Some people get really curious about some of the gauges that I use,
Do another hostage.
and these are
I'll do one more hostage
3
beginning for you
types
guys just so you can see how it
of
goes.
field service gauges that the U.S. military uses
So
on the
85 or
M16
higher.
and the M4.
And the time less than 4
This
seconds.
is one of the older gauges. This is from
That shouldn't
the
be a problem. Like I said, I did
XM16.
it once already before.
You
It's
can
pretty
see
fun.
that this one actually has
So,
a
80 seconds.
go at 159. So the tips are initially, before they collected more data, the original reject for these holes was 159. So let's take this palmetto.
Stand by.
It won't go.
High left 93. Holster the firearm.
But this was the first bag.
Stand by.
And then these are two different types of 163 diameter.
High 92. Holster the firearm.
You can see they have a bevel on the tip. And the reason this is done is it's not trying to see if the hole
holster the firearm
is completely round and taking the gauge. What it's looking for is an oblong hole. So sometimes it's possible for these holes to wear in an egg-shaped pattern. So what this does is, since these are machined down to only use the small surface here and the small surface here, if the hole gets egged out, this gauge will go into that as you spin it. If the hole is egged out to that diameter.
Firearm.
So just wanted to show what these are used for. Something that a lot of people find interesting. These gauges are rather hard to get a hold of.
High right 94.
These are the essentially the civilian versions that I've made. And then these are what these gauges here look like before they're inserted into the handle. And I have these in various sizes. 154,
left 93.
155,
the firearm.
56, and 57. And it just tells me where I am when I'm dealing with a low receiver.
Low left 83. Holster the firearm.
Something that's important to note is not all low receivers use the 155 hole diameter. This is a Colt, and these actually have, for their
low left
normal
92.
spec,
holster the firearm.
or 169. It's sometimes hard to determine just by looking at it, but these are larger diameter holes. So if you have a Colt and you're installing maybe an aftermarket Geissele that's a large pin, or you're just replacing the factory fire control group with a newer one for whatever reason, you want to make sure that the pins, again, fit like I instructed earlier. And then for the large pin, the no-go is 177. So if these holes were to get large enough to take this gauge, the low receiver would be rejected.
All right, guys. Millennials with guns. To the one user that's still
Next
here
step,
or just popped back in.
And this is the reason that we keep the springs off of the hammer and trigger. But we want to ensure we use gauges. But in lieu of that, you can just...
Let's take a look at what we got going on.
Make sure that your hammer and trigger
tightening my grip too much.
Insert into the lower and freely spin.
I like looking at this. I had a flyer right there.
We're actually going to put the key into the
flyer.
So we'll try that.
Flyer, fuck. Yeah, but they're fucking 83, so I deserve that. 92, 93 flyer.
Fit without any resistance or binding.
I call those flyers when they give me my motion where I fucked up at. Yeah, those are flyers, but I'm hitting though. 90% flyer, I'll take it. This is unacceptable in my Luka 79 flyer. Look how fucked up that is. Bullshit. That's unacceptable. That was a flyer. That's nice. Yeah. Little flyer, but I'm hitting you. 93.8 flyer. Hey. So, yeah, hostages, man. I didn't kill. Oh, no. I saved 8, so I can live with that. Don't be a hostage. I mean, 8 times out of 10, I'll save you. Let's do primary hand on me. thing. I'll go back and show you my secondary hand stats once I get done with this.
Of course, these were rather sloppy, so well. Thing with the disconnect.
High right 93.
Binding.
Low 93.
Dealing with the hand since it has expanded all.
Low 87.
Good on